Welcome to the Nexus Point. We are Romero and Geoff Bruskin, and this is the podcast for next generation accounting firms. All right, guys, welcome back again to the Nexus Point Podcast. As always, my name is Rich. We're with Geoff Bruskin, managing partner and founder of White Tiger Connections. How you doing today?
I'm excited. We're going to talk about some good stuff today.
Great. So professional services firms spend their days helping clients build systems, strategies, and financial clarity, but many struggle to apply those same principles internally within their own firms. That can create quite a contradiction. You can't sustainably deliver for clients what you haven't built internally. So we're going to unpack that a little bit today.
Rich, I cannot tell you how many accounting firms do not have clean books. It is wild.
Yeah, so we're going to get into it. So first things jumping off here, why do so many professional services firms struggle to apply their own advice internally?
I think it's like, have you ever heard the adage that what you provide to others is what you need the most? I think I don't know if that's true or not, but like there's some application of that here. Here are these accountants, financial advisors, lawyers who are so invested in giving their, expertise to clients and to building a firm. Oftentimes, even that same service that they provide, it's like the tax accountant who's doing their own return at 11:59 on April 15th. There's a ton of that stuff that pervades the industry. And obviously, we're going to talk about it today. There's rippling implications even beyond it. I think it's almost like exercise and stretching and eating well. Like we have to build systems in our own, ritualistic way that we run our firm where the health of our practices is able to take precedent. And I think it's that good behavior that we talk endlessly about working on our businesses instead of in our businesses. And I think that's making your bed in the morning, right? It's building the habits that when accumulated together, create this environment where we can, now start to do really fun things as opposed to all the minutia that underlies our services.
Yeah, and it's like when you look at the same thing for too long, it's easy to gloss over things. So I definitely hear you there. Just talk me through a little bit of what are the risks of misalignment between what a firm sells and how they operate, and how that internal chaos could maybe undermine a client's confidence in their ability to get the service provided that they need.
I think a lot of clients, and we've talked about this previously, Rich, right? Like clients pay attention to how you make them feel. Just like any relationship in life, yes, they're coming to you for a service, but they stay with you because of how you make them feel, right? It's not always just how much money you save them or what you're able to do. I mean, those things are amazing, but like the real X factor, the thing that makes them send all of their friends to you, that they can't stop thinking about you, right? That you're just going to knock their socks off. Your reputation is going to grow by orders of magnitude. It's how you make them feel. And that word chaos is a very scary word because chaos in your operating processes and the health of your firm and the way that you run things behind the scenes, you're not going to be able to keep the veil from the wind blowing it open and clients experiencing the result of that. And so, just in terms of your being able to provide the services that clients are coming to you for currently is so, and continuing to provide them well, right, is so dependent on all of these services, all of the infrastructure, the order, hopefully, that's behind what you're delivering for them. Certainly when it comes to growth or scale, it is absolutely vital, because if you're building on a foundation that's not even able to support kind of your existing operations, it's definitely going to collapse when you try to grow on that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving that little tease, because that was where we might end on a question there with talking about impact on scalability and the long-term sustainability of firms. But before we get there, how is that built? How do you build something with intentionality? When you're doing what you say you will do for clients? What does that look like when you're building it?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. So I think I come at it from two ways. So one is standard operating procedures. You need to sit down in a dark room with a coach or a consultant if that's what helps you think, maybe with your spouse or with somebody you trust or a key staff member. And you need to actually architect the way that things will work. I'm sure many business owners listening to this are like, of course, obviously, that's easy. But there's some stuff that's maybe uncomfortable in that, right? Maybe you have an SOP, but it hasn't been updated in a while. Maybe you've had a way of doing things historically based on the way that old technology or old systems built, and you've maybe changed some things around, or maybe you need to change some things around. You've got outdated systems. And you need to kind of focus your efforts and get this thing figured out so it's orderly. And there's an intellectual aspect to that. I would say maybe even the bigger aspect to that, Rich, are the relationships that are closest to you. And so whatever the SOPs, that you put together are, that the order, at least on paper, that exists behind the curtain, that's going to be executed by real flesh and blood human beings who work for you. And so clarity of understanding where, the people who are, maneuvering through these workflows that you have set up and these tools, these pieces of technology are being the service, are being the delivery. The client is not interacting with a portal or with a report, but the way that your people are showing up and, inside of these systems is precisely the kind of experience that you want to, give. And so the understanding, that shared understanding between yourself and the people who are using these SOPs, really that's the stuff that order is made out of.
Yeah, and maybe it's even, the firm owner or the managing partner needing to be sat down and basically say like, look, these things need to change and they just got to get called out on it. And that's how you start to build with intentionality and things like that. So when that mindset kind of changes, how does that impact, leadership decisions, the firm's priorities, and things like that they're able to deliver on, internally and for their clients?
Hopefully it's an opportunity for you to reach into your bench of talent at your firm and to pull leadership out of it, right? Even if you have people who are not currently operating inside of leadership roles, the best way to grow, even just to stabilize, is to create leaders and to ignite that spark of leadership capability inside of the people who work for you. Now, you may not have any talent inside your existing organization where the spark can ignite, but are you really investing in trying to ignite it? That's the first question. And if you are and you're not getting anything back, you need to think about your talent pool. And how do you do that with a difficult talent market? Well, you unlever the geographic barrier, and now you have access to a talent market that's not limited to your geography, and there are exceptional people out there, right? Maybe not in your zip code, but out there. And so you have to have the right people with the right people. They don't already have to have that leadership experience, but you have to invest the time to create that spark or use that spark and cultivate it inside the context of whatever the initiative that you're looking to be managed is, right? You are not the bottleneck for all of this, the systemization and growth. But you are the bottleneck for inspiring that leadership in others.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then to go back to your question that the comment that you made a little bit earlier, just talking about impact on scalability and long-term sustainability. How does, building what you want to build for your clients, practicing what you preach, so to speak, how does that affect the long-term viability of your practice? And then what can that lead to?
So I think clients, are, all business owners are pretty perceptive people. Right? High net worth individuals, business owners, even everyday people, there's a lot of perceptiveness there. And so this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the last podcast, which was culture. If you're inspiring a sort of behavior from the people who work for you, which is necessary in order to create that system of order on the back of SOPs and processes, your clients are going to experience that as well. And so the trust of advisorship, not only the technical deliverable, but the trust that not only you, but your people are going to be able to build with your clients is going to mean that all of a sudden the scale and this growth becomes available to you. But it starts with the way that you lead and the way that you inspire others to think about leadership and management so that the firm can move beyond you.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. And I appreciate you going into depth with me there on, just this very important topic. And I think, again, it starts oftentimes with the managing partner, with the person in charge. They got to be willing to take the steps necessary to push themselves continually to withhold that standard. And that's why it matters a lot when you have someone there, whether it is internal, whether it is external, just being willing to face the facts and face the music and be held accountable. So that way what you build internally can speak volumes to what you do, for your clients and all of that. So anything else you want to add on there?
No, just it's fun to be able to jam with you on the topic, man, because I can see it, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners can too. You get it. And It's great when you have that spark, that relationship, that trust with people who are around you. There's nothing that you can't build.
For sure. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So a little bit of a short one today, but I know we packed a lot in there. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this one, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks a lot. See ya.
Yep. Bye. Thank you for watching the Nexus Point. See you next time.